Alright boys, so just arrived into the hotel. In today's video I am going to be discussing the benefits and the dangers of creatine. This comes after popular request by one of my favorite subscribers who comments quite frequently. I appreciate you, brother. Oh, just getting some messages. So yeah, creatine. Creatine, what is it? Creatine is a naturally occurring substance that is found in the cells of muscles, I guess. That's how I describe it. It's nothing synthetic, although quite commonly when you get like blue raspberry flavoured creatine by MyProtein or pink berry flavoured creatine by MyProtein, these are synthetic, and this is because they've had flavours added to them. But natural creatine, which comes in the powdered form, is totally naturally occurring. Again, if you're taking creatine in a tablet form, you're getting something artificial because they needed to powderize it, and they've added things to it in order to make it compound in that manner. So, why do you take creatine? Well, creatine helps your muscles produce energy. It helps you retain more water, and this therefore enables you to, I wouldn't say lift heavier, but it ensures that your muscles and your body retains the hydration and can therefore, it's quite an intense thing to describe in quite a lot of detail. Let me break it down. Water contains oxygen. Your body retains more water, your body retains more oxygen. You can then lift more weight for a longer period of time because your muscles have a higher quantity of oxygen within them. That's essentially it. Just in the same way that if you have a lower heart rate, your heart has to work less to pump blood around your body. Therefore, you get more oxygen flowing around your body because the blood flows more freely and the blood transports oxygen as well. So that's essentially what creatine is, and that's what it does. Now, the benefits of it, as I said, if you're lifting heavy weights, not just for 1 rep max, I wouldn't really say creatine benefit you in that instance, but where it will benefit you is when you're doing high volume with a heavy weight. For example, if you're going for 90% of your personal best and you're going to go for 3 reps of that, let's say your personal best is 200 kilograms, you're going to go for 190, 185 kilograms for 3 reps. When you come to that 3rd rep on creatine, you're more likely to find it easier versus off creatine. You may only be able to get 2 off creatine, and then you may be able to get 3 with creatine. That's essentially what creatine does, and that is the benefit of it. It enables you to get that extra repetition, enables your body to endure a little bit more before that point of fatigue. Now, that's the main benefit of it. But there is a side benefit of creatine, and that is that when you are taking it, your body retains more water. That water retention can essentially result in you looking more full, more voluminous. I'm currently not on creatine anymore. I was for a little while, but I've come off it for a bit now. The reason being is that I like to cycle it. I'll go into that later though. So yeah, the side benefit of this water retention, aside from the increased amount of oxygen that your body can retain, is the water, which can result in you looking bigger. You fill out your muscles a bit more, maybe not. It doesn't all go into your biceps, boys. It will go everywhere. So it's not just, you're not just going to take creatine and your neck will thicken, your traps will become voluminous, your chest will protrude. These things will happen, but they will not happen just by taking creatine. You still need to exercise in order to do it. It's not some sort of testosterone boosting steroid or anything. If I were to describe creatine very briefly, I would say that its main functionality is to enhance strength, gain muscle size, and then also to improve your exercise performance. Now, enhance strength because it will enable you to get those extra repetitions on a higher weight. Gain muscle. Now, it won't actually build muscle or anything like that, but what it will do is it will allow you to lift these heavier weights for more volume, which will result in bigger muscles. Pretty common sense. It will also make your muscles appear larger due to that increased water retention, and thus it will make you gain muscle, more or less. And lastly, it will improve your ability to perform. So you don't have to be lifting weights if you want to take creatine. With this last one, improving your ability to perform, you may be doing jiu-jitsu, you may be running. Creatine will enable your body to retain more water, and therefore when you're running, let's say sprints, and you're doing sprinting intervals, on that 10th interval, you may be absolutely fatigued, and then having that creatine in your system, having that extra water in your system, can therefore come in handy then, because it will, as I mentioned, you'll benefit from the oxygen that your body's retaining, the increased amount of oxygen, and also the increased amount of water. Those are mainly the benefits of creatine. Now, with regards to dangers of creatine, I've got some notes up my laptop here. Just see if there's anything. In fact, you know what? I'll go with my own dangers of creatine before I start looking through the notes. Just ones that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Danger number 1. You take creatine. Actually, let me just refer to my notes just to make sure I don't want to miss anything. I have it all in order. So, yeah. Danger number 1 is you get. It's not really this isn't a danger. This is more so a mental danger. You gain weight, or at least if you don't gain weight, you appear to be gaining weight. You fill out, as I mentioned. Creatine results in water retention. That water retention does not focus on a particular muscle. It goes all over your body. If you are a bit worried about gaining weight and losing that leanness, maybe don't take creatine, because creatine will result in you looking a little bit more bloated. That's just from personal opinion. I've tried creatine on and off for many years, and I've noticed that to be the case the majority of the time. Additionally, you need to drink a lot of water. You can't just take creatine, let's say you have I never take it in capsulated format. Let's say you take a capsule of creatine in the morning, you drink 500 milliliters of water, nothing else. It won't work. It won't work. If you just take that little bit of creatine in the morning, you take your 4 grams or whatever, it will not work if you do not then subsequently drink water consistently throughout the day. There's no point taking it, because creatine makes your body retain water, makes your muscles retain water. If you do not drink enough water, what is your body going to retain? Answer me that. Nothing. Your body will have nothing to retain. There will literally be no point taking it. In which case, you're most likely just damaging your kidneys, because you're putting this shit. I mean, it's not shit. It's naturally occurring, but no one's really taking pure creatine. They're always taking a flavored creatine, or they're taking a capsulated creatine, which is full of not so nice things. You're taking this supplement, and you are not flushing it through your system. You're not peeing it out. It's just sitting in your kidneys, because you're not drinking enough water in order to excrete the negative aspects of creatine. So it all just sits in there, and then you get issues with your kidneys. So yeah, that's the main danger, of course, is that you're taking something artificial, really, and that's not with creatine as a pure substance, but rather it's with the other stuff. No one has natural creatine, as I said. So yeah. Now, actually, I'm on a research article here, and I can see that. Okay, so creatine. It's a common misconception that creatine supplements damage your kidneys. Yeah, that's apparently that's. Apparently there's some studies more recently, because creatine has always historically been associated with kidney damage. I'm assuming due to the reasons I just mentioned. You drink it, don't drink enough water, it sits in your kidneys, take that for a prolonged period of time, you injure yourself. So I'm assuming that's where the logic comes from, and then more recent studies are saying that it doesn't damage your kidneys. But boys, I don't know, a lot of these studies, I haven't deep dived them, but if you really went into the nitty gritty, I think you'll find some of them are sponsored. And yeah, I never trust a sponsored study. Now, creatine, I've got here that bloats you. I've mentioned that already. Makes you, and that to me is more of a mental thing, mental danger. But aside from that, I haven't really got anything on my notes. Let me just do a quick Google search just to see if there's anything I missed off. Okay, so weight gain because of water retention, mentioned it. Bloating, stomach discomfort, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Bloating, I mentioned that as well, you know, it does bloat you. If your stomach discomfort, if you're taking creatine and you feel sick and your stomach is cramping, then yeah, stop taking it. That's the same with anything. If you drink, I mean, I'm drinking coffee right now. If you drink coffee and your stomach starts cramping and your bottom's exploding and you're feeling sick, don't drink coffee. It's not hard, boys, okay? Dizziness, dehydration, dry mouth, and excessive sweating. Excessive sweating, yeah, I've had that. As I said, your body's retaining all this extra water. If you're not exercising and you're taking creatine, what else is your body to do with all this extra water? It's going to sweat. That's pretty logical. Dizziness, dehydration. I guess if you're not drinking enough water, again, coming back to the importance of drinking water when you're taking creatine. Muscle cramps, strains, and pulls. Never heard of that. I've never experienced that taking creatine. Muscle cramps, strains, and pulls. I personally have never experienced that ever. Hair loss. I've taken it for years. I mean, I've got a big forehead. You may say it's receding, but it's not. My hair's thick. So, yeah, hair loss, not true. Creatine does not result in hair loss. What I would say is that probably these studies are being done on perhaps older people where hair loss is more natural anyway. They may lose hair over time. Or the studies are being done on athletes who may be taking performance-enhancing drugs, which may result in hair loss. And either way, I wouldn't say that creatine results in hair loss. I don't understand the logic there. That doesn't really quite make any sense. So, anyway, to go back over the pros and cons, because I'm just kind of rambling now. I've gone through my own notes. I've gone through criticize Google's dangers of creatine. And I'll summarize. Creatine is a performance enhancer. That performance enhancement can result in you being able to lift more weight for more repetitions, which results in you therefore being able to gain extra muscle. Creatine also works by resulting in greater water retention, and I've explained the link between oxygen and water already. This water retention can make you appear larger as well. So people think you take creatine for a couple of weeks, your muscles start to bulge out, you look good, you feel good. Contrastingly, creatine with this increased water retention can make you appear fat. If you're gaining body fat, you're getting bloated, your belly's going to appear larger. I mean, all of you is going to appear larger, but your belly, specifically if you're taking creatine, because of the bloating, because of the water retention, that may knock your self-confidence and you may feel a bit down. Now, studies are saying that it doesn't cause kidney damage. Boys, take it with a pinch of salt. I still would advise to be careful in your use of creatine, specifically because if you take anything over a prolonged period of time, you take it every day consistently, is that really the best for you in any case? If you eat lamb's liver every day, is that good for you? No. If you eat sardines every day, is that good for you? No. I'd say the same thing with creatine. What I personally do with creatine, in fact, I'll finish what my point on the danger. So I personally would associate long use of creatine without correct water consumption with kidney damage, because to me it makes sense that if you are taking creatine but you're not drinking enough water to firstly flush it out of your system and secondly retain the water that creatine is attempting to put on your body, then that will likely damage your kidneys. That's what I would think. Studies are saying otherwise, so maybe listen to them over me, but that's just my opinion. And so I'm going to finish up the video now that I've gone over the pros and the cons of it by just telling you how I take it. Very simple. When I'm taking creatine, I like to do my loading phase. Now you can either load in one of two ways. You can firstly load by taking 20 grams a day during the first week. Now the way by which you do this is you have your tiny little scoop that comes in a creatine packet. It will get about 4 grams or 5 grams depending on the size of the scoop. It will say get about 4 grams, and if it's a 4 gram scoop, throughout the course of the day, you take 5 scoops of creatine, and you do that every day for a week. The reason being, if you take 20 grams of creatine all at once, you will piss it straight out. Your body can only absorb 4 grams of creatine. There are studies backing this up. I don't need to research it. I know this. I've read this before. There are studies backing this up. Your body can only retain 4 grams of creatine per hour, meaning therefore that if you are drinking 20 grams of creatine, or consuming, 20 grams of creatine in an hour, you will piss away 16 grams because your body can only retain 4. Therefore, if you are taking creatine and you're doing the week-long loading phase, I would recommend that you take, during the course of the day, maybe every 2 hours, take 4 grams of creatine for 7 days. Then, at the end of those 7 days, take 4 grams daily, and that's it. Because then you will have already reached the optimal levels during that week, and then your body will just be cruising on high, because you'll have loaded like this, and you're cruising on high. The alternate way of doing it is by just taking 1 scoop a day for 28 days, and that is a loading phase. That, rather than doing this sharp up and then riding on high, that is kind of going like this over the course of the 28 days, like that. Okay? Now, you don't just have to take creatine for 28 days, because the likelihood is you'll need at least 14 before you notice any substantial changes. And so, what I would say is take creatine for 3 or 4 months. 4 months. 4 months, yeah. 4 months. I take it for 4 months at a time. I started taking it in February. It's now June. I'm not taking it anymore. I stopped in May. The reason being is that I like to give my body a break from the things I do. For example, I drink protein powder. I don't drink protein powder all the time. I might go a month without drinking any protein powder at all. What I'm doing there is giving my liver and my kidneys and my stomach an opportunity to reset from having all this sludge poured on it. It's just allow my body to reset back to natural foods, back to its natural state, where it's not at an elevated level of anything and it's just consuming regular, organic, natural food. But I say the same thing about protein. I say the same thing about creatine. Cycle it. You don't need to take it all the time. Protein should be an add-on to your diet. You should already be consuming enough protein, and you just drink a protein shake for convenience here and there. Creatine should just be an add-on to the existing training. You should not rely on it. You do not need it every day for the whole year. If you're doing that, then maybe you will get kidney damage. What I would recommend is that if you are considering taking creatine, put a date in your calendar starting the 7 days. Do the 7-day loading phase, or start at the calendar 28-day loading phase for a longer introduction to it, and then whichever loading phase you choose, write a date 4 months in your calendar later, and then when you reach that date, stop taking it. You won't die, you won't lose your gains overnight. I haven't been taking it now for 20 days. Look, I'm still pretty big. I mean, sure, it's not doing me any justice, maybe not the lighting either, but I'm still pretty big. My arm's probably still big as my head. The idea being, you won't lose muscle by stopping taking this. My performance has been dropping a bit recently, but that's due to doing jiu-jitsu and then going to train weights. I'm too fatigued by the time I come to train weights, so I just need to swap those two things around, which I will be doing, and you guys will see the improvements, because creatine doesn't make or break your training. You can take it and it will benefit you. You can not take it and it will benefit you. It's just a supplement. At the end of the day, it's there to supplement your training. You don't need to take it. But if you want to, you can get some good benefits out of it. You may also get some negatives as well. So I hope I kind of summarised that for you guys in kind of a bro chat kind of fashion. I didn't really go too much into any hardcore science. I didn't really structure this one like I did with a previous video I did where I discussed deloading. What I wanted to do is kind of have this as an open discussion, more so than me just reading off notes to you guys left, right and centre. My notes were literally a couple of sentences reminding me what to say, and I think this worked better, because you got to see my honest opinion rather than just things that I've sat down for a long period of time, thought over, revised, deleted, and then spoke. You just got to hear my honest opinion on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And with that being said, I'm now going to end the video. Hasta mañana, mis gringos, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Adios.